Yeah, hi guys. Now I can see that I have sound here. So this is my first stream from this beautiful studio organized by Marcin Melnichuk, our technical director. Oh, just a moment. Yeah. So and I want to take a chance and test this beautiful studio, and also speak on some moments that we discussed with Igor Mazurenko today during our previous live broadcast regarding the biggest topics as of today. It's for sure the IFA World Championship and Zloty Tour World Cup and other things happening in arm wrestling today. So you can send your questions to the chat, because we had the previous broadcast in Russian, and I'm ready to answer the questions from those who already saw this streaming or and have some questions in English. And I will tell in few words what we were talking about, and let's discuss some thoughts. I hope I will see the questions right here, and I'm ready to answer them. Just a moment. Get the sound off. So everybody is extremely busy in the office right now, so I turned off this live stream, and I'm very excited. And we plan to do such broadcast every day, speaking about different topics. We have a lot of topics, and to discuss. We need a feedback from you guys, because our plans are big, and our main goal is to make all the world's arm wrestlers happy and build a great industry of arm wrestling all over the world. So the feedback is extremely important. First of all, let's speak on the topics that we discussed with Igor Mazurenko today. Igor is at the meeting right now. So the topic number one is certainly top 8. And next year, as most of you know, that we are launching the second weight category. We're launching 2 weight categories actually, because in 2019 we had the open weight category series, and in 2020 we are planning to change it to 2 weight categories. It will be 105 plus weight category and 95 kilograms weight category. Accordingly, people from the unlimited weight category will go to both of them, and new weight category, 95 kilograms weight category, already has 3 champions. It's Rustam Babayev, Kadirgali Angarbayev, and who else is going to 95? Oh, we have in two champions, so they go to the champions pool. And we have a great news. We have signed a contract with Mr. John Brzank, and he gave his agreement to participate in the top 8 2020. That's really great news, because I believe that this is the new page for arm wrestling, because there is no other person like John who is an example for any athlete, and it's a cult person, absolutely cult person for arm wrestling. and it's a real owner, like Igor said today, real owner of the truck, not Sylvester Stallone, but John Brzeng from Over the Top. And we are very excited because this time John is not, for many years he was appearing in some super matches, in some shows, pulling athletes heavier than him, and in the top 8 he comes to the weight category. He feels very confident, and we have a chance to witness his beautiful technique, unique techniques, if to be right. So he will show us great fights in the top 8. So the top of our sport, it's the place he really deserves. So this is news number 1 as of today, and let's speak about 95 kilograms weight category. So facing the top 8 2020, we're waiting for, we need to select people for the top 8 candidates for the top 8 2020 95 kilograms. According to the rules of the ranking, rules of the top 8, people are selected from winners of the elite division, which is Zloty Tour, and only 2 people have right to enter to go for transitional fights and pull for the participation in the top 8. It's the winner of the Zloty Tour in the specific weight category, and another guy is the guy from the URPA ranking in this weight category who earned more points than others. But this year, the first year when we're launching this weight category, we will get more people from 95 kilograms weight category, and it will be, as of today, 5 people. 1 person will fill in the champions pool, for champions pool, and we will need 4 contenders. So that is why these people will be selected from the first places of the 95 kilograms. And we have a special procedure this year for 95 weight kilograms. We register, you should go and register if you want to participate, if you want to compete for the place in the top 8. You should go online and register, and we have only 40 places for this weight category, and please don't lose your time. Go there, go to the link which I will put under this video, and follow this link and register, and we will approve your candidacy or not. So please fill in the registration form, and then our committee will select people. So there will be definitely more than 40 applications, so don't miss this opportunity. Okay, so I see I see Russian audience has joined us. And okay, so one of the big topics this week was, and what we discussed with Igor Mazurenko as well, is the IFA Worlds, and a little bit information about how IFA emerged, how this organization appeared, and what is all of this story with WF and IFA, and people in different discussions discuss all these questions, all these issues, and I recommend to watch yesterday, I think, or day before yesterday was the great discussion between Ryan Espy and Chris Gobby and Rick Pickney about it. And from our side, it's like I always want to add something how it happens, because we really we are really participants of all of that. And if a world championship will be this is a really great event. We have a huge announcement, but it is approaching like within a couple of days. We will get all the documents and all the stuff, and we will make a huge announcement for all the IFA participants, IFA members. And a lot of things happened this year. So, and I think that 1 hour of our first test live broadcast will not be enough for all of these things. But anyways, ask your questions, give us topics in comments, just what you would like to hear about, and we will make special programs about it. Okay, coming to IFA. IFA championship will be really great. We already have about 420 athletes registered. About 30 countries already are represented here, and we think that it is now it's a great result. It's almost a half, more than a half that WF had this year. And we are preparing all the venue, hotels, everything to accept the first championship, because it was a great risk when Mazurenko Arm Wrestling Promotion supported those countries who wanted to organize IFA, supported and made a commitment to make the first championship in Poland. And just remembering these times of such so-called PAL, WF PAL conflict, I still I remember how difficult this decision from Mazurenko Arm Wrestling Promotion was. But for those who we have questions like, how much power Mazurenko has in IFA, and I asked Igor today how much power does he have in IFA, and as a secretary of IFA myself, I can say that, and actually I'm a part of Mazurenko Arm Wrestling Promotion, I can say that this organization was organized by first members, by countries who couldn't stand being in WF, and there were many reasons which grew from nothing, completely from nothing. Everything started, just in short, the story by our eyes, by my eyes, okay, my personal description of the situation. Everything started like a year ago. And everything started with the move of the head referee of WF, Edward. He initiated the banning of the referees for the, as they say, certification of by the WF referees who participated in our processes of creation of URPA, Unified Ranking of Professional Arm Wrestling, the only global mathematical ranking. And he was very concerned about the fact that WF referees were giving certificates to the new referees, and they were certified by URPA. And like we didn't see anything in this fact. It didn't cross with, there was no conflict of interest at all, to on our opinion, because actually these certificates were our internal thing for URPA. We were using WF rules, and this certification process was the process of giving the permission to the new referees to referee for URPA, and who was the best, you know, trainer for the new referees, if not WF referees who worked on Zloty, who worked in professional arm wrestling for many years, and most of the time who worked for WF, most of the times for free, voluntarily. And actually we didn't see what can be a problem with WF. For sure, we didn't think about taking over or initiating any other amateur organizations. But then this process started developing. Referees started protecting themselves, just answering, fighting back, and then put this process, they tried to put this process into some logic, because nobody understood what actually was the problem. And then WF officials, they started protecting their head referee, and then they couldn't stop. As far as I understand, they couldn't stop, and they started banning athletes. And that was a great mistake. Not banning, actually nobody was banned, and but they starting printing out these documents, this directorate banning proclamations. I don't know how to say, because there is no law, there is no no provisions in constitutions that foresees this process. We understand and we respect WF bans regarding doping rules, anti-doping legislation and everything, but things that do not correspond any documents, any legal documents accepted by the Congress, WF Congress, we didn't know how to react on that. So, and the most painful thing in this process was that nobody negotiated with us. Nobody had any discussion with us. Igor's phones were WF president blocked Igor on his phone, never picked up the phone. There was no discussion and no negotiations. So we were just told we were just told to die, that's it, or kill your PA ranking, which was as we believe and know, which is the backbone of the professional arm wrestling. So why we needed to create this ranking is that to give each athlete, to give a chance to position himself or herself, position themselves at the world stage for everybody to see this person, to collect points, to legitimately participate in legally participate in bigger event and make his way to the top of arm wrestling, which we believe is top 8. So and suddenly we were told to die, okay? And then, as I say, like we cared, and not only us, many respectful people like Engin Terzi, many guys who played a huge role in building and developing WAF, and it's their effort that so many people, that big delegations are coming from Turkey, from Russia, from Kazakhstan. It's efforts of the heads of federation. rest of federations and Niazi Kurt, they all made the efforts and approached WF Directorate and trying to find a compromise, but it was really impossible because there was no contradiction. There was not a second rival, so there was only one side in this process. So finally there was a made decision to establish a new organization, completely transparent in the very transparent jurisdictions of Switzerland, where most of the sports organizations are situated. So, and with transparent bank accounting available for the democratically elected directorate, and with transparent reporting, which WF doesn't have. So and we just started, and now we are approaching the first IFA World Championship, and the team of the I'm a member of the temporary directorate. I'm a secretary, and we are doing a lot of things to make this organization big and open for all the countries, for all the members, all the federations. And arm wrestling definitely needs a fresh air, a new breath, which we believe IFA will be. Some people from the countries who participated in the WAF championship or federations made decision to stay in WAF. We communicate a lot. Some athletes are contacting us and saying like, "Oh, our federation decided to stay in WAF. So what should we do? They're so bad," or something like that. I say no. The biggest mistake of WAF leadership was that when they started banning athletes. And when you start banning athletes, the very bad thing is happening. The destruction of the sport is happening. Why? Because imagine the head of some federation who is the great guy, who is developing the sport for 20 years, who is knocking these government doors, who is like finding some money for taking people to the world championship, who like builds his life on it, and then he has his team, he knows all the athletes, they respect him very much, and then some guy from WF contacts him and says, "You should ban this guy because he participated in PAL event." And then this federation head, he's very, he's very agreeable guy. He calls this athlete and he says, "I have to ban you because you participated in Mazurenko event," or whatever. And then what is in the head of this athlete? How he can what he should think about his head of his federation, the guy who needs to protect him, or so he loses his trust, he loses his respect. And that this process, it's like it burns the federation from inside, and that was a huge mistake. And it shows that people do not look too far when making their decisions. Don't look too deep, don't look at athletes, don't look at small organizations. And I usually say to the athletes that are writing to me that please do not judge your federations so strictly, Maybe next year situation will change, because these people, they deserve respect. They develop arm wrestling for many years, and they doing this sport, and now they just put in the position of the immediate decision. They should decide immediately whether to cut the professional sport, whether cut the amateur organization that they participated for years. And sometimes they choose the WAF, even having the alternative in IFA, because they need stability. Because professional arm wrestling deals with senior athletes mostly, and in amateur arm wrestling, kids, grandmasters are involved. So amateur arm wrestling is much bigger. So this is the matter of it differs from country to country, but it's a tough decision. So that is why it's very difficult to judge right now, and the situation is, like, the shit really hit the fan here. And I think that time and IFA's performance will show where these organizations will be next year, or in 2 years, in 3 years. I think that the most right way for us to, everybody should decide for himself, and for ourselves, we choose the way of focusing on the best event that we can do. So as I say, as I said sometimes, like, I don't care, I don't think much what WAF thinks of us since the moment the decision to establish IFA was made. So from that moment, we focus on the best events for athletes, for the best organization in the world. And by the way, competition like works. The WF guys like contacted Olympic Channel, though it's just a OTT platform, online platform, but it's a good move for our sport. It's a good achievement for our sport. It's a pity that it wasn't done before, and competition plays a very good role. So we will see. And as soon as it's for the good for the athlete, it's great, no problem. Okay, so now we are preparing to accept you all in Rumia, in Poland, for IFA Championship, and we're sure that it will be great. And what's interesting about it, we hope that there will be a lot of advantages. Unlike the WAF championship, we do not have official hotels, so you can come and live wherever it is comfortable for you, though our hotels around the venue are very good. So we do not press, we do not push, so anybody can come and participate. So okay, let's speak about zloty. We spoke about zloty already, so let's speak about zloty. Let me see. Okay, never nothing. Questions. Mazurenko also banned athletes, Zaloy for example, or Travis Bajan. Travis Bajan. Okay. There is a difference between this word banned is very interesting, because the difference between amateur arm wrestling and professional arm wrestling is that professional arm wrestling is built up by private commercial companies, which, like, and nobody hides it. So which aim to make business on arm wrestling, and actually it's a company's discretion whom to invite to events or not. Banning in amateur arm wrestling has far more very serious consequences. So if Mazurenko didn't invite Travis Bagent, it was like it was Mazurenko's choice. And if it is declared that, for example, if we have URPA and we say that it is open for everybody, so literally for everybody, so we cannot ban just for nothing, or we should have very serious reason to refuse a person to participate in this ranking. Same thing, like I don't know, if there are some serious reasons, for example, unsportive behavior or bad wording, I know that Travis is not, you know, is not very, you know, is not limiting himself in words when speaking about Igor, but sometimes he's being correctful. I mean, trying to be good, but I don't know. This is personal things, but it's not the some things and some events there are like private events for commercial companies, and it's up to organizers to invite somebody or not. No problem. But if we speak about democratic non-profit organizations, it's a little different thing. Who's banned by WAF actually? I don't know. I know stories that in some countries athletes were banned by their federations, like literally kicked out for the decision to participate in Zloty Tour last year. So I mean this year, and by WAF nobody. That's the trick, you know, because it's like nobody was. You are put on the personal discretion of Mircea Simonescu or Asen Hadjitodorov. They decide, like, you know, there are no rules, just the emotional decision of these guys. They want you to be scared, you know, to be scared, to be banned, to be afraid to be banned at any minute, you know. That's the aspect of power, that's the aspect of psychological pressure. That's the most difficult thing. I can tell that I might ban you, or you should call me anytime that and ask me where do I go. Come on, listen. If I'm in professional arm wrestling and I have a contract with WL, for example, it's natural thing that according to the contract I should call the guy, call my the head of the company or my company I have a contract with, and ask whether I can participate somewhere. But should I call to the company or non-profit organization I do not have contract with, which doesn't pay me anything, to some people to come to know their personal opinion whether I can participate or not? They can give their permission, or they can choose to not give me permission. It's a little bit sick and strange. There are not so many arm wrestlers in the world to create a different organization. WAF, Valpal, IFA, it has to be the only one, I think. Nobody knows how many arm wrestlers in the world, but we made a little research, and what we can do, because from zero, if you grow from zero, 1% is 100%, right? But I believe that there are millions arm wrestlers in the world, and I think that there should be a lot of organizations around the world, because organization is not some hierarchical thing that should take care of you as an athlete. That yes, it's very comfortable when you get contract, when your phone rings, you pick it up and they say, come over, we have $1,000 for you pulling, just regardless of the result. Yes, but you should deserve it. You should come to this level. But how? If you're extremely talented athlete and you live somewhere in the bushes, and where do you go? You go to your gym, you meet your guys from the neighborhood. This is the organization. You get together and you decide that you have your own club. Then you unite with some other clubs. You call it, I don't know, for example, I don't know, Connecticut non-profit arm wrestling federation. And this is the organization. So you unite. Why? Because you have your champion, like Connecticut champion, or you want to organize world championship. You just decided it's your version of your world championship. The other thing, whether you will be recognized by all of the people, and whether you will be allowed to, whether you will have a moral right to call your champion an American like national champion or something like that. And it goes like, and these organizations, they are growing naturally from people's decision to unite and to pursue some of their interests. If you guys decide that it will help to approach some governmental institutions, that you come and say we are like 1,000 people in the certain state, in states or in the country, and we are the community, we can support somebody. So we are structured, because sometimes governments have money, but they don't know whom to give this money, for this money not to be stolen, to be distributed right, to show the result. For example, if you have this organization and you come to government and say, you give us funding and we will develop arm wrestling in schools. We have 10 guys that can go to each school and teach this physical training teachers, give them the basics of the tournament organizations, basics of training. We can buy a table and give it to this school, so we can develop it in 5-6 years. You will have athletes from this school, you will have these kids joining you, and you will growing this, and this is called developing the sport and uniting to develop this sport. If you have your small organization that you get together and like make an internal little tournament, and the guy and each one of you puts some money on this tournament, and the winner gets this money, and he has opportunity to go to bigger event and pull and win bigger money and bring it back to your organization. That's you organize together. Okay, so that is why there can be thousands and millions of organizations. The only question, if all of these organizations have different rules, it will make no sense. Okay, so that is why we actually had the idea of URPA, because there were no standards, there were no what ranking needs standards, because you can compare athletes only if there are certain standards same for everybody. So you can have your own organization, but you can, the great thing about URPA, that you have your own organization, your own brand, and you can join URPA and you can have your event with your own brand, but with core URPA standards, table, scoring, software, referee, rules, and that's it actually. And certified athletes. Athletes certify, and then they go register. Actually, certification is actually registration in the ranking, and you get your points in the world's ranking. Okay, so you tell the athletes, we have event, I don't know, Red Bull event or big boom event, whatever, of our organization, and coming to this organization, to this event, you can earn points, and these points go to the global ranking. So you like ranking representatives. So it really doesn't matter. The better for athletes is the better, because the only thing that athletes needs is to more events, more opportunity to practice, because events, practice in the gym and practice at the event, it's a different thing. That is why we plan to have more events. And speaking about arm wrestlers in the world, we have different arm wrestlers in the world. And actually, I'm going to make separate broadcast, separate program about that, about what's going on and how it's all working in the world, and how's ranking working, and for sure it's a question of how many people, how big is the arm wrestling market. For years we were preaching to the choir, you know, like arm wrestling was in arm wrestling and all the things were inside of it, and main audience of arm wrestling is arm wrestlers for sure. But now we are making efforts to open arm wrestling to the audience, and the great side of Mazurenko arm wrestling promotion is that we have this unique TV technology to show arm wrestling for the viewer, for the TV viewer to be involved in it, and we're opening to the general public, and accordingly from the general public more people get interested into arm wrestling and coming into the sport. And to our estimation, if we speak about athletes participating in events like URPA events, like professional events, we can speak about approximately, as of today, about 300,000 athletes worldwide. And if the work with the athletes on developing of arm wrestling, including school programs that we already have, including development of the gyms, charity programs, we have all this stuff, and implement it one by one, then popularization it on TV, so it will grow the arm wrestling population up to 1.5 million, I think, during the 3-4 years. Okay, so it's a pretty good market. And moreover, arm wrestling is it's a great sport, well known, and it's self-efficient. So we know the value of this sport. People are ready to, general public is ready to buy tickets to come to spend time at arm wrestling events. Arm wrestling doesn't need much. The threshold of entering this sport is not very high. You don't need to build a big venues, you don't need arenas, you don't need cages, you don't need expensive equipment, but you need a good professional table, safe equipment, you need training programs, you need some theory behind it, and that's actually what we're doing. And The more organizations, the better. The more people are coming to the sport. Each organizer that organizes a minor event, he gets 1, 2, 3 people more interested in the sport, and they're coming, and this population is growing, and that's what we are like dream of, to grow this arm wrestling population. And the main problem of arm wrestling is that everybody knows what arm wrestling is. Everybody arm wrestled in the world, but not so many people know that this is a sport. And the more rules, the more different stuff around arm wrestling, the far this point when people, then millions of people will understand that this is a sport. The more unified rules are, if there is one ranking, if there is maybe 2 rankings, I don't know. But if there is one set of rules, people will understand it faster. Yeah, rating. Wipeout rating is based on attendance and not on athlete versus athlete performance. Why? Oh, very interesting question. Hi, why PL rating is based on attendance and not on athlete versus athlete performance? Okay, very good question. It's not based on attendance, but it's based on attendance too. So first of all, the system of the points is following. You come to the tournament, even minor tournament, we call it minimum requirement tournament, and you pull and you earn points, you earn tournament points. If you take first place, for example, you're in its minimum multiplier tournament, multiplier 1, you earn 10 points. If you take first place, so it's actually athlete versus athlete. You need to take first place, and then you get 10 points into the ranking. Okay, if you come to the bigger event with a bigger multiplier, like huge event with multiplier 5, we award organizers for putting effort, for putting cash money, cash prizes, taking cash prizes, some give outs for the athletes. We're motivating them with the higher multipliers. So if multiplier 5, you earn 50 points. Okay. Yes, it can refer to, like, attendance can refer to the fact that you can come to the tournament according to the rules. If the tournament has multiplier 1, you register, you pay your registration fee, and even if you do not pull, you still get 1 point. Okay, so you cannot get 0 points. But this is, as we know, in the competition, there are three or four, maybe 4 actors participating. It's 2 athletes, referee, and organizer. People forget about organizers. So ranking system is stimulating everybody, is stimulating athletes and stimulating organizers as well. So we need to, there are different levels of athletes. So if athletes is not very talented, or he's a newcomer, grassroots as they say, so the guy who just started, he still can come and register in the ranking, and then he comes to the organizer, and you're organizer. He comes to your event, pays a registration fee, which you organizer which is what you organizer need. So he pays registration fee, and he is the last place. So he cannot get 0 points. He already came. He made his input into the sport. He motivates you as an organizer. You earn money, and you're interested in you organizing the next event. And let's look just very simple at this. You know, we know all the stars. We know very talented guys who are very noticeable, but the main population of arm wrestling are the simple guys who have arm wrestling as a hobby, guys who trying to put together some professional career, or the guys from time to time attending professional events and amateur events both. So there is a mix of the types of the athletes. But let's look very simple. MMA fights, you know, I decide to go professional fights. I just go register and go professional fighting, like fighting club or something like that. I didn't fight before, but I decide to earn money with fighting. I will not succeed very much, but I want to participate in there. So this is not just attendance, believe me. And then it's a first type of competition in the ranking, the tournament, right? Double elimination tournament. Second type is vendetta, when you can call your opponent for the match, for vendetta, and you actually everything depends how you perform, whether you win and jump up, or you lose and stay where you were. So and your opponent earns one more point and steps one step forward. So I do not agree. Question, guys, questions. Good questions by now. Okay, so no questions? All right, then I will round up, and hopefully I will come out tomorrow to show you, to tell you in detail about URPA or what's happening right now, and answer more questions here. Just write it in comments, and I will put the link for the registration to the 95 kilograms weight category right in the description of this video. Thank you very much for your attention. Bye bye.